Hello everyone, welcome back to another live stream. It's been a while since I did one of these. There will be no chat box for now at least. Anyway. So I feel we might be approaching a bit of like a range bound environment where I guess until we have more news, because right now the price is really just driven by economic news, but geopolitical news, I meant to say. We might stay inside this kind of range. We consolidate here in the past. So, I don't know, if I want to be bullish, I'd say this kind of price swing needs to be closed above and pushed, through. Let me switch to my other right here. Anyways, as I was saying, we need to push up above this price swing, close up here pretty aggressively, and as long as we don't do that, then I'm still open to lower prices. We have closed through this gap, showing we don't want to use it to go lower, but at the same time, geopolitically, lots of different things are going on. I feel like we keep switching from, okay, we're escalating, to, okay, we might not escalate. And this morning, Trump released a statement saying, Iran's not going to have the civilization by the end of today. So, I think he's gaslighting. Personally, I think it's just to raise inflation expectations, and they're trying to use this crisis as an opportunity to make people panic and make inflation expectations elevated into the future without necessarily elevating them in reality. This environment where if people continuously have higher inflation expectations allows the economy to get used to having a higher interest rate, allowing them to keep the interest rates higher for longer. Now, I'm not saying that this is like this crisis isn't real. It's definitely happening, but what I am saying is I can't trust what anyone is saying about it. The headlines or the president, the Pentagon, just that the consequences are real, and I also kind of trust that the military knows what they're doing, that they're not gonna they're not underestimating Iran. They're not gonna do something stupid that would have cost the country a lot of things that makes it great. So I think they know what's best for the country, and that they have this sort of under control, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this sort of crisis start to wrap up here. Because one thing I just want to point out is I noticed the credit spreads started declining, and the volatility in the bond index also dropped a lot, and the VIX hasn't been going crazy. So could this be at a low? Very well, very much so. We could be at a low. Real yields have started to decline after they raised aggressively, with the whole bond yield, bond prices or bond yields exploding, and now we're just waiting to see if we have more escalation or if this conflict starts to get wrapped up. But going into today, I kind of like the price action. I woke up this morning, looked at the price action a little bit, and I do kind of like it, the way it looks. I've got this new week opening gap from the 3rd of March. Huge new week opening gap. I don't really like that one. I feel like it's messing up a lot of how price is moving, just because it's such a wide gap and price trades through it so much. But what you will notice is during 9:30 we almost never trade through it. We always just run through it immediately. So could we have a huge down day? It's possible. I feel like it's in the cards to drive lower here. But I also am not eliminating higher prices. I am seeing how I think I favor lower prices because I'm seeing how we are failing to make higher highs. I yesterday, we make higher high, and up here we make a higher high, and then we kind of decline. We don't really move past these highs. Like it's not like over here when we make a higher high, but a much higher high, and we're moving far past it with huge up close candles. Like no, we're quickly rejecting after making these higher highs. And then we kind of failed to make higher highs overnight. We declined, start making lower lows. Then we just made one higher high above today's high, but failed to go above previous day high. And that is kind of like a telltale sign. The fact that we made a high of the day, failing to get above previous day high with a heavy decline, is enough to tell me that, okay, we're probably right now order flow is bearish. Now, we might not do anything today. We might not go anywhere. But as of currently, I'm liking the idea of lower prices. And a few different things can happen. I need a 5-minute short-term price swing lower before going short, and I don't really see that right now. I don't see any down close candles that the short-term highs get taken out. I don't know if I will see that, so I might not have a trade. I don't have a trade. It is what it is, but looks like, interestingly enough, the S&P made a higher high. So there's some SMT there. And I usually don't like to see SMT. When there's SMT, sure, it could be more of a confirmation and reversal, but to me it's also showing that it's not as willing to go lower efficiently. So we might not see a very big range down. The Dow is interesting here too how we're running up into this hourly gap, right? Which is fine. It's just you go ahead and look at the the Dow, and we're much lower, closed beneath these lows. Over here we've only wicked, so I really don't like it right now because the markets are not very correlated. Again, I still think we can go lower. It's just if I were to look for shorts, I'd probably prefer doing it on the Dow. It just doesn't usually create good price action when we see that. Just very uncorrelated. Alright, so I don't really like price action at all.
Tell them
Kind of lost interest. But right now I'm watching to see how the up close candles are reacting to lower prices. So what I mean is, like, as we pull back and we refer to higher, more premium candles like these up close candles, are we finding rejection off these, or are we moving through them? And as long as we keep finding rejection off the most recent up close candles, then price is still bearish. Same thing with the 5 minute. These candles up here, are we rejecting them? And these lows, we move through these lows and we have a bit of a reaction higher, but once we get up to a premium, we start going lower again. And I'm qualifying my premium from pretty much the bulk of the price action, like the bodies, not this wick, but maybe this wick, to the low, like the body. I like to go body to body, so like this, and we pulled back here into a 50%, above 50% range, into a premium, and then price referred to these up close candles that are in premium as bearish. That's an order block shorting setup. Continue going lower. At this point, if we're gonna see much lower prices, and like I can forget about having my model show up, I'd want to see this gap here stay open. This up here was the first presentation fair value gap. As soon as we rejected making higher highs, after higher time frame was making lower lows, and lower time frame started to align, and we inverse this gap. This is a shorting setup. I did actually take a short right off this gap, a little bit lower than that. I got in like right here, and my stop was just above the gap. And I passed the front-end account. It was only a challenge, so I didn't. It's not my model at all. This is just a simple. I see this is gonna work. I'm gonna take it, and then I passed a challenge account. So I haven't filled any of the front-end accounts that I've gotten so far, except for one. I filled it at the very earlier in the year. I remember, just stupid things like accidentally trading with 8 micros on one account instead of across all the accounts, and then making me lose a lot more, or make a lot more than I was planning. That happened more than once, and as a result, I got into very deep drawdown on that account, and then eventually lost it. But I mean, so far all the accounts are in okay health. One of them is close to being lost, but other than that, I do have some in profit. I haven't been able to get a payout yet, but I haven't been trading them much at all too. Ever since February, I have been dialed back and really focusing on one model with one account, and I'm just now getting back into streaming, so soon I'll be going full throttle on Apex once I get my groove back and I'm more confident in the model. Yeah. I did take a loss yesterday. This trade I feel like should have worked. We had a huge pullback, and I was uncomfortable shorting after this pullback, after I started inversing so many of these gaps. It eventually did go lower, not as low as I would have wanted it to. I felt like this was inefficient because of the whole thing with Trump, as probably it is. Seems like he wanted to be inefficient today, but it's running quite well. Just didn't get my setup. I was trying to view somehow this down close candles as a sweep, but if I'm being real, there is no setup here. My model is not there. Alright, everyone. So at this point, like I said, this gap stayed open. We've moved far past this low. We've left quite a big of a range. We're hitting some liquidity targets. So I'm not trading anymore. I'm done trading for the day. Price is already done its move. It's already expanded. I'm not done looking for anything I want. So, anything else that happens isn't really of any interest to me. Regular trading hours, we took out this liquidity, so we might start to see a slowdown here. Maybe a pullback. I'm not going to be reacting off to that. I'm not going to stay here trying to tempt me for anything. I'm done for the day. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see everybody later.